Welcome to The Advocate, a program that thrashes out all the topical issues of the day.
We've had Dasuki chilling in and out. We don't even know what is going on.
We never actually ever hear the truth. Everybody's the same, and that the same thing that's been going on with Jonathan is going on right now.
Statistically, women are more than the men, but in Nigeria, politics is more of a game of strength than numbers.
One of the reasons why we don't have more women in politics in Nigeria is for as long as political meetings continue to take place in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Nigerians have never been more ready for a change. Somebody's got to sit down to say that this is my strategy for making change.
And it has to be a united.
Frankly, Nigeria is becoming a very ugly place. Everywhere. In the villages are worse.
We have a heritage, but dirty heritage.
Basically, and that's it. I don't think we know beautiful things anymore.
You depress me.
Look, Ankara and Tiwa.
We are back. You're watching The Advocate on Plus TV Africa. I'll be taking things from here. The one-sided story. My topic today is inspired by the writer Chimamanda Adichie, and she called it the one-sided story. She talked about her early days as a writer and how her stories were formed based off what she had read, even though she had never experienced it at the time. In her talk, she discussed the impression one story or a part of it could form. A single story is never complete. It tells only a part of a whole story. She mentioned the way people in other continents have a single story of Africa, one of catastrophe. In her word, so after I had spent some years in the US as an African, I began to understand my roommate's response to me. If I had not grown up in Nigeria, and if all I knew about Africa were from popular images, then I too would have think that Africa was a place of beautiful landscape, beautiful animals, and incomprehensible people fighting senseless war, dying of poverty and AIDS, unable to speak for themselves and waiting to be saved by a kind white foreigner. I would see Africa in the same way that I, as a child, had seen Fide's family. This single story of Africa ultimately comes, I think, from Western literature. Now, here is the quote from the writing of a London merchant called John Locke, who sailed to West Africa in 1561 and kept a fascinating account of his voyage. After referring to the black Africans as beasts who had no houses, he writes, "They are also people without heads, having their mouth and eyes in their breast." Now, I have laughed every time I read this, and one must admire the imagination of John Locke. But what is important about his writing is that it represents the beginning of a tradition of telling African story in the West, a tradition of sub-Saharan Africa as a place of negative, of indifference, of darkness, of people who, in the words of the wonderful poet Rudyard Kipling, are half of evil, half child, and so I began to realize that my American roommate must have, throughout her life, seen and heard different versions of this single story. At some point in our lives, we have been guilty of viewing a people or a person through one story only. Many times it's not our fault because we may have had access to only one story or a part of a story. Thanks to books and media, other times we are too lazy to find other stories. So we stick to only one and form stereotype on this story. This is why some people feel that all Muslims are terrorists, every Nigerian is fraudulent, and feminists are men haters who do not cook for their husband. You can add yours, the list is endless. These are grossly untrue. She continued, so that is how to create a single story. Show a people as one thing, as only one thing over and over again, and that's what they become. The single story creates stereotype, and the problem with stereotype is that they are untrue. The problem with stereotype is not that they are untrue, but they are incomplete. They make one story become the only story. Story matters. Many story matters. Stories can be used to dispossess people, but can also be used to empower people and repair their broken dignity. We need to realize that there's never a single story of any place. It is important to read, diverse, and explore cultural similarities as much as we do cultural differences. This is the only way we can get rid of single stories and the danger they pose and regain paradise. And so, I throw the questions back to you.
Paradise regained.
Well, thank goodness. I don't enjoy things that Chimamanda says. That is, I'm not quite her fan. However, maybe because this time she's not talking about feminism and such topics, I'm able to engage more properly.
Because you also to just one-sided.
And I have just one-sided about her. It's her side I've been listening to that I don't like.
You didn't listen to us
No, I will now
regular
listen to you
feminists.
guys. Yes, exactly. But I like the whole thing of of different sides and all that, and a balance and helping to balance. Admittedly, it takes a lot of intelligence to balance things, because you're still leaving it to people to balance things by themselves. That is dangerous as well, because I can balance the way I like. I can have 5 sets of information about something. I say, that's it, I've decided this is the way it is.
That's it.
And unknown to me, the 5 are actually quite alike. So I haven't done any work.
But
literally.
the concept here is not for you to take one and modify it into 5. The concept here really, what you're talking about is, take one, modify into 5 like John Locke did, and others took from there and modified. The concept really is going out actually to seek the other side of the story.
That's what that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was saying that you could seek 5 different sides.
There are always 3 sides to a story, not even 2.
Exactly.
3 sides to a story.
3 even enough?
There are 3. There are 3.
Your side, my side, and the truth.
So basically what the message is not whether people will say, always tell the other side about your story. It's that people should go out there. There are always other sides to that story or that narrative that you are chasing. And so always go out there to, seek, the other narrative. And with that, you have a balanced opinion on
And
issues
can I just quickly add that we also need to be good ambassadors of whatever we're trying to portray as well.
Yes.
You could hear about Nigerians being fraudulent, criminals, whatever, but you yourself, if you carry yourself differently, you would change that narrative right there.
You'll be that person out there.
We're really making sense today.
It's been a hard day, heated one, and then fun as usual. Even though today I had to put my peperempe on the hot seats. But like they say, time is always not your friend when you're having fun. Same way we can't believe it's already time to go. But I want to say thank you to all my panelists and to this program, which has been hot and diverse. And same way I want to thank you viewers for watching. You've been there for us. But you can continue the advocacy on our social media platform at Plus TV Africa, #TheAdvocate. Until we come again your way, same time next week, let's continue to advocate for a better society. Bye for now and be good.
Welcome to The Advocate, a program that thrashes out all the topical issues of the day.
We've had Dasuki chilling in and out. We don't even know what is going on.
We never actually ever hear the truth. Everybody's the same, and that the same thing that's been going on with Jonathan is going on right now.
Statistically, women are more than the men, but in Nigeria, politics is more of a game of strength than numbers.
One of the reasons why we don't have more women in politics in Nigeria is for as long as political meetings continue to take place in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Nigerians have never been more ready for a change. Somebody's got to sit down to say that this is my strategy for making change.
And it has to be a united.
Frankly, Nigeria is becoming a very ugly place. Everywhere. In the villages are worse.
We have a heritage, but dirty heritage.
Basically, and that's it. I don't think we know beautiful things anymore.
You depress me.
Look, Ankara.
Let's go.
And Tiwa.